we have a rare privilege. Schalk, is jy daar? We're waiting
Hallo.
for...
Hallo almal. Ek is
Schalk?
hier.
Waar is jou prentjie?
Ek is net hier. Hy's op.
You sure? Ah, daar's hy.
And it's hi.
How's it, buddy? How are you?
Very good, thank you. I've got another Wilgenhof old man with me. So it's
Who's that?
fantastic. It's Roelof Veenstra. Roelie Veenstra.
Roelof. Hallo Roelof, hoe gaan dit?
Ja, lekker julle.
Gaan goed.
Speaker is my friend. Right. Schalk, listen, I've got a few questions for you. Thanks for sharing, or thanks for making the time, and thanks for running past my house this morning and not waving at me when I said good morning, right? But we'll have that conversation. Schalk, first question, very importantly. William Webb Ellis Trophy, right? You lifted that. Currybeker, het jy hom al gelig?
Ernest, no. That's one trophy I haven't lifted.
Heineken?
Yes.
Heineken, yes. Pro 14, yes.
Pro 40, no.
No, all right, fine. Sour, have you lifted the sour?
That's the one I actually wanted to lift the most, and that opportunity never presented itself.
All right, gents. Well, that was Schalk. Thanks for your time, buddy. No. Let's not do that. Schalk, listen, thanks for joining us. We are privileged to have you here. Look, I'm not gonna, ask a lot of questions about your early days. Mpangeni, Boy, Paul Ruiz, Marty's, Doc Craven could have scripted it, but then Saracens, 216 games. How did you get there, mate?
Firstly, I just want to say congratulations to Niku and Edwin and the old boys. I mean, just starting off before my career, my life was molded in places like Porus and Wilgenhof, and they always gave me the opportunity to be myself and have a point of view that is sometimes not popular, but it was respected, and there was always a debate, and not just the race itself, but the people. And the beautiful thing about Wilgenhof, although it's a great institution, it's the people that makes the institution. And for everyone that's listening here, and the old manner that paved the way before me, thank you. How did I end up at Saracens?
Yes.
Ek het 'n paar jaar in, hoe kan ek sê, vir Stormers in die Leeu's gespeel. Ek het gesien daar's 'n groot mannetjie met die naam John Smith wat voor my speel, en ek het nooit regtig gedink ek gaan 'n professionele rugby speler raak. Ek het klaar geswat, gedink ek gaan 'n jaar of 2 saam Erns by Leeu's toe gaan, bietjie gaan sport sê, bietjie speel en dan die regte lewe aanpak. That got derailed quite quickly with contracts at the Lions. The career went well, and then eventually a guy called Brendan Fenter, that was then the Stormers coach. Well, he's now he's helping out the Stormers. He said, let's go to Saracens. 1 year with the missus. I wanted to go to France as there was more money, new language, different culture, and most rugby players always think about the end, as you've got a very short opportunity to maximize your earnings. 1 year became 10 years, and probably from a life perspective, rugby perspective, Saracens was the best life decision we've made as a family.
Oh, superb. Listen, you've actually answered a question I wanted to ask later, because with all due respect, I was, all jokes aside, this is a career, right? This is a bloody hard piece of work that you put into. And when you got to Marty's, Wilgenhof, that you couldn't script this, could you?
No, I can't actually. I can't script the 90s doing what they did as well. I can honestly say I wasn't expecting that, running around naked and all the things that really happened, eating things that we did eat back then. But I mean, through the tough and the good times, it forged great relationships. And for me, it's not really about scripting anything. It's about enjoying the journey. And when
Yeah.
you're in a specific place, you always want to get to the next stage, next job, next thing. And sometimes you forget to enjoy the journey. And that's what I learned from Saracens. You know, it's imagine you get to a place where they tell you, we're not here to win anything. And I thought, wow, I've heard that before. We're going to get smashed every weekend. But the other side of it was you always to have be successful, you need a great work ethic and you need to be disciplined. But the human element comes to mind when you really want to forge a great culture. And only at Saracens I saw an unbelievable culture where you look after each other, and not just from a financial perspective, because that you can always buy new guys, but it's people that makes a culture. It is thoughts, embracing diversity. And the one thing in South Africa, there's growing up, it's almost sort of the same mindset. You get to England and you've got guys that don't believe in religion, guys that irrelevant what race or what background you are, we're all different, speak different languages. We all had different name tags when you got there, but you have to find a common goal, common ground, and then have a common goal to be successful.
I love the way you said that, because we won't ignore Tokyo, we won't ignore Japan, right?
Yes.
I think it is rather important. But what you just said, I want you to sort of just think about speaking to the youngsters in this conversation, the guys that are currently in the race.
Yeah.
You just said that, you know, there's a time where everyone's the same and everyone looks after each other, right?
Yeah.
Did you experience that in the Japan journey, right?
And there's actually a couple of great stories that actually brought us close as a group together. Okay, of course, 2018 we got together. We had a record loss against New Zealand. We had a record loss against Ireland. And Rassie spoke about entitlement the whole time. I haven't watched Chasing the Sun, but hopefully it comes out from that perspective. But fast forward, we had a specific game plan, very, very to the point, not very pretty, but we went from a stats perspective, what's going to give us the best possibility of winning. Never tried to inspire a nation, never tried to change people's lives. But then during the World Cup in Japan, there's a couple of things. Before we went over, there was a racial issue with Yeben, and then during the World Cup, there was the thing called the bomb squad. And the amount of abuse we got from a racial perspective was enormous. And then we sat in a circle as senior players, and I don't know if they will put that on on TV, but we got together and we wanted to have a combined message to South Africa. And actually, Rassie stopped and he had another meeting. He said, boys, in South Africa, there would always be people that want to divide us. We've been together most of the year. I only slept 15 days and 8 months I slept at home. So we were very close. And he said, look around you. What makes us strong here is not that we're all the same. It's actually that we're different. We've got Sia that grew up, that didn't know where his next meal would come from. He couldn't watch a 2007 World Cup final. He had to go watch it because he didn't have a TV. He had to go watch it in a shebeen kind of thing. And everyone shared their personal stories. And Rassie referred to me during that speech as a Mosselbaai mannetjie wat 'n daggarokertjie was. So everyone got their own kind of background. And that then it got extremely emotional, you know, sharing very personal stories. And then he just said, let's rather show our country what we can do through diversity. And hopefully then the nation will see, irrelevant what race, what religion, what background, if we've got the same aim and the same goals, we can show South Africa, if we work together, what we can achieve. And that was sort of the catalyst towards our success. Not just game plan. People want to know how we change the game plan from the semi-final to the final. But just that, I think, was the big secret to our success.
Schalk, I couldn't find any better way to summarize, I think, what we felt in South Africa in terms of how you just said, what makes us strong is not, similarities, but it's our differences, right? Do you guys understand what you did?
No, honestly, Ernest, I did not understand the enormity of the situations till I came back. I know I had a massive hangover and probably still at a Musha Babalas, but when we arrived in South Africa, after 4 different flights, and they flew us back in different groups, and we arrived at Oliver Tambo, and there was thousands and thousands of people going absolutely crazy for the Springbok and for what we've achieved. And at Oliver Tambo, it wasn't just one group, it was everyone was there, and everyone was happy, everyone was supporting one cause. And for me, that was amazing. And then doing a tour through South Africa for 5 days, and great, it was amazing going to cities. But what was amazing as well is going to townships that I would not put my foot down today. I was walking around there, hugging, laughing, crying, and it just truly showed that sport does have the power to change a country. And it is just a game, but then I had hope, and still I've got hope for our country.
We had an earthquake a while ago here down, south of the, south of the continent. I do hope you guys understand that you actually caused the earthquake in South Africa, right? You actually moved the earth. So I couldn't say thank you enough for what you guys have done. Right, same question as I asked Edwin. Bucket list 2021, mate, what are you up to?
So, unfortunately, to every sports person or professional sportsman, you have all women. You have to pivot somewhere. And I had to change career path. And in 2013, I signed a contract. Johan Rupert owned Saracens, or he was shared ownership with a guy called Nigel Ray. And in 2013, I already decided, well, I need a soft landing. I need someone to hold my hand. Like Edwin said, I needed a mentor. And I didn't sign for more money in France as I wanted a future. And I'm currently working at Remgro, and they're taking me through their program. So I started management accountancy. I know, very boring, at Stellenbosch. So they give him exposure to private equity, corporate finance, and fintech. And unfortunately, I have to do internal audit starting in Jan. So that's pretty much what I'm doing now. One thing that I come to the realization, you're quite far behind from a technical perspective. You've got a lot of soft skills where you can network very well. You can, from a strategic perspective, you can understand people and you can make teams work better. But for now, I need to graft, earn respect from the guys working next to me, and hopefully in time, my leadership capabilities will show, and I can, make a change.
There's absolutely no doubt. Schalk, listen, you've been an absolute star, and we're excited to have you back in Stellenbosch, right? It's about time you better welcome home, right? And I want to again say thank you for what you guys have been able to do. You're a superstar.
Yeah, it's weirdly enough, Ernest, the plan wasn't to come back. I had my studies sorted at Cambridge, although we've got some Oxford alumni here, but the plan was to study there, work at Raynet in London. And I was actually sipping cocktails with my wife. Kids were sleeping. She would hate me saying this, but I was just trying to get lucky. And then out of the blue, a message came through a WhatsApp, and it was Rassie Erasmus texting me if I want to come out of retirement. I thought it was Vincent Koch taking the mickey out of me, and I sent back, so he asked, do I want to come out of retirement just for the England series? I said, yes, of course. I'm the prettiest, biggest, fittest, quickest hooker around. Now I'm taking the mickey out of I thought Vincent. After about 3 or 4 text messages, my wife, the lawyer she is, she goes, "Are you sure it's not Rassie?" And it's 2 o'clock South African time. And I pick up the phone. I phone. Guess who answers? Rassie Erasmus. And I go, "Oh shit!" Sorry for my language. And then, you know, a lot of things happen. And Ernest, a lot of things happen for a reason. And now I'm living an unbelievable lifestyle in South Africa. We've got a really special place. We're special people. But together, we can change this country. And really, it's just, yeah.
Okay, I know we're overshooting time. I've got to ask you this. One team or many teams, one coach or many coaches, right? How did you guys move everyone in the same direction?
Put egos in your pocket, picking the right people, not always the best people. And that is sometimes hard to do, and that takes leadership from Rassie's perspective. And then accepting that there is different opinions and debating opinions, because we're all from different backgrounds, but eventually having a debate. And unfortunately in rugby, you've got a lot of papagaya. So, I mean, there's a game plan, it's set, and a lot of things, and this is the thing with the Afrikaner a lot, as ons sê ja, en ons hou nie van konflik nie, maar dan gaan ons agteraf en ons doen iets anders. And that was a big thing, is actually Rassie was promoting debate. He was promoting debate from a player perspective, from a strategic perspective, and then we went back to facts. What kind of, for interesting fact that people won't know, and I guess all of you, when you watch the game, moet die bal skop nie. But we knew from so hoekom skop vir die bal? But from a KPI perspective, we knew that running meters or kicking meters is way more important than running meters. And although it wasn't pretty, it is sometimes you must make or follow a path that's unpopular. But you know, in the long term, or you believe that this would work, and sometimes it didn't work. And then you come back and say, okay, why didn't it work? And when there's pressure, it's sometimes difficult to do that.
Sometimes you have to follow a path that's unpopular, and sometimes you just have to, yeah?
Yeah.
Schalk, you're a scholar, a gentleman, and I look forward to shouting at you tomorrow morning when you run past me, all right? Thank you for your time. Superstar. Thanks, Schalk. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, and have a great night and keep on doing what you're doing.
Thanks.